Hello everyone. So I am Dr. Alok Singh Thakur. This is the second video about the anthelmintic drugs. So in this video we are going to discuss the synthesis of two important drugs from this category. One is the mebendazole and another is the diethyl carbamazine. So let's start the video. First of all, we'll discuss about the mebendazole. So this is the structure of mebendazole, which is belongs to the benzimidazole category. So mebendazole is containing the benzimidazole. As we know, the benzimidazole is this one. It is a bicyclic structure. So this is benzimidazole, and here we have NHCOO methyl carboxylate group with an amine, and here we have benzoyl moiety. This is benzoyl group which is present here. So let's take the numbering. So this is the structure of mebendazole. The numbering will be start from the benzimidazole category. So this is first nitrogen will give the priority, as we know the heteroatoms is there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. This is the numbering of the benzimidazole ring, and the nomenclature will going to be right on the basis of selection of the lead structure. So we'll take the lead structure. The parent structure is this one. This is the methyl carbamate. NHCOO is called carbamate, and this is methyl carbamate. This will be the lead structure or the parent one for the IUPAC nomenclature of this mebendazole. So let's start the nomenclature. This methyl group will be right earlier because it is the ester salt. So this is methyl. Then rest of the structure we're going to discuss, and at the end we will write the carbamate. So this is methyl for this methyl, and here we are going to start the nomenclature of this rest of the structure. So this is fifth position is containing this one. This is called benzoyl. So this is 5 benzoyl, C6H5CO, benzoyl, and this benzimidazole is itself connected with this carbamate from this second position. So this is 2 benzimidazolyl. We can also write it as benzimidazole 2-YL. YL is the point indicating the site of attachment, which is the second one of this as a side chain, and the lead structure is carbamate. So this is the IUPAC nomenclature. So IUPAC nomenclature is methyl 5 benzoyl. This is the benzoyl group. 2 benzimidazolyl. This is imidazole corrected from the second position, and carbamate. So this is mebendazole, IUPAC nomenclature of mebendazole. Then let's take the synthesis. So synthesis will going to be start from here as the precursor. So the mebendazole synthesis is a little complicated. We have to prepare the two different fragments to prepare this compound. In the initial state, we'll going to prepare one of the fragment, which is known as the methyl thiourea carboxylate. So this synthesis starts with by taking the lead structure. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, we'll take the NH2 CS and H. If you take the NH2 C double bond S, then it's become thiourea, and here if we substitute this sulfur with CS3, then it become S methyl, and here we have imine instead of amine. So this is the structure of S, because it is SS methyl thio. This is thio group, thiourea, and this is generally taken in the form of sulfate salt. So it is also known as S-methyl thiourea sulfate if we take the H2SO4 sulfate salt of this one, but we are not required, and it will not going to participate sulfate group in this synthesis, so we will not going to write it. And another component is the ClCOOCH3. This is called methyl chloroformate. This methyl chloroformate format is used to attach this methyl format group from this imine moiety. So in the next step there is a reaction, condensation reaction in the presence of simply NaOH. So base we will take, because here the acid group H from here and Cl from here, minus HCl. This minus HCl we going to be neutralized by this NaOH, and here after condensation we will get this fragment. So this is NH2 CS CS3 double bond, and because H is already there, already removed in the form of HCl, then it will fused with this methyl format and become COOCH3. So this is become methyl carboxylate moiety is attached here from this category, this S-methyl thiourea. So the name of this fragment will be methyl. This is methyl. So this is methyl S-methyl thiourea carboxylate. This is the methyl carboxylate. So this is methyl S-methyl thiourea. This is thiourea carboxylate. This is the first fragment we required to prepare this mebendazole, and the second fragment we required is actually the diamino benzophenone. So for this we are going to take the precursor, and that precursor will be 4-chlorobenzophenone. So this is the benzophenone, 2 benzene ring fused with the ketone. This is called benzophenone. This benzophenone, and it is, this is 1 2 3 and 4 4-chlorobenzophenone. So this is the fragment we required to prepare diamino benzophenone, and the nitration will take place in the presence of HNO3 and H2SO4. As we know, for nitration we required the HNO3 and H2SO4. So this chloro is ortho directing group, and this ketone is also meta directing group. Benzophenone, phenone group is there. So nitro group is going to attach at the third position. Then we get this one. So this way we will prepare the 3 nitro 4-chlorobenzophenone. Then in the next step we'll replace the chlorine with an amine NH2 by reacting this with an ammonia, and it is required methanol. This will going to be condensed at 125 degrees Celsius, and this way this NH3 ammonia will react with this chlorine, and one of the H will react with Cl and remove in the form of HCl. So condensation will take place, and then we get the structure in this way. So this is, now it is amino and nitro derivative. Now this nitro is also going to convert into the amine if we reduce this by using palladium catalyst, reducing catalyst. So in this reaction, the nitro group after reduction in the presence of palladium will also convert into the amine. So in this way we get the 3,4-diamino benzophenone. This is the second fragment we required. So in this way we have two different fragments, and if we take this fragment together, these two products together and condense, then we get the mebendazole. So let's take the synthesis. So here we have diamino benzophenone. This is diamino benzophenone from the second, and here we have methyl S-methyl thiourea carboxylate. So let's write the structure of this one in a reactive mode. So this is COOCH3, which is attached from which one? N, and here we have double bond carbon, and this carbon is containing NH2 group, and this one is containing SCH3 group. So hydrogen from here and whole NH2 and H from here. So from here it will be a minus NH3, and from here we will have minus CH3SH. So one H is from this NH2 and this H is from this amine group and NH2 minus NH3. Then after reaction we will have, so two of the component will going to be removed from here. One is the thiomethyl group or thio or captomethyl we can also call it, and another is the ammonia, and in this way this amine and this another H from this amine. So thus we get the structure of mebendazole as this way. This is from benzophenone, and here we have N, H and NH, this carbon, this N COOCH3. So almost we have a structure of mebendazole. Here we'll get the amine tautomerism. So H will going to be transfer here. Now we get this double bond here, we have H, and this will become single bond. So this is the structure of the mebendazole. So this is the overall procedure for the synthesis of the mebendazole. Then what is the mechanism of action of this mebendazole? So this mebendazole is actually inhibit the polymerization of microtubules, which is essentially required microtubule, and this microtubule is formed from the tubulin. So when the tubulin is get polymerized, it's converted to the microtubule, which is essentially required for the during the cell division, mitosis process of the parasite. So if we inhibit the microtubule formation, then it will arrest the metaphase of the cell division of the parasite, and thus there is no further cell division or the parasitic multiplication will be takes place. This benzimidazole or the mebendazoles are also inhibit the glucose transport inside the parasitic cell, and thus there is no source of the energy for the parasite, and then there is no motility at the moment in the parasitic cell is occurs, and thus slowly the parasite are got destroyed. So there is a two different mechanism. First is the inhibition of the polymerization of the microtubules, and this one is takes place after binding of the mebendazole with the protein beta tubulin. So when they bind with the beta tubulin, they inhibit the polymerization of the tubulin, and there is no microtubule is formed, and the cell division and the metaphase in the metaphase it get hampered. And the second mechanism is they inhibit the glucose transport in the parasitic cell, and which will cause the inhibition of the energy source, and it also leads the depletion of the glycogen storage in the parasitic cell of the intracellular microtubules, and thus they prevent the parasitic cell division and the cell growth. So this is the mechanism of action of the mebendazole. Then another drug belongs to this category is the diethyl carbamazine. Diethyl carbamazine, which is a very simple drug. This is a piperazine derivative. So this is piperazine, and here we have a methyl group and a carbamoyl moiety. So this is carbamoyl moiety, which is substituted with the 2-methyl group. So this is dimethyl carbamoyl. The carbamoyl is amide is known as carbamoyl. NHCO, this is amide, this is also known as carbamoyl, and this is methyl group. So let's take the nomenclature, IUPAC nomenclature of the diethyl carbamazine. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So piperazine is taking as a lead structure. On the basis of this we have nomenclature. This is 1, and in this one we have carbamoyl, which has the diethyl group at the amine. So it is N ethyl carbamoyl. This is diethyl carbamoyl. We can also write it as N diethyl aminoformoyl. N diethyl amino. This is amino and this one is formoyl. Formoyl. So this one. But here we have N diethyl carbamoyl and this one is methyl, which is in the 4th position. So 4-methyl and this is piperazine. So this is piperazine. So this is the IUPAC nomenclature. If we have 1 N-diethyl carbamoyl, which can also be written as N-diethyl aminoformoyl, and here we have 4-methyl and piperazine. This is the piperazine. So let's take the synthesis. Synthesis is very simple. We have one step synthesis. So the precursor will be, we have piperazine, which is methyl substituted. So it is N substituted. So N methyl piperazine, and another component is this one. We have to add this diethyl aminoformoyl group. So this is CON, which is substituted with C2H5 and C2H5. This is diethyl carbamoyl chloride. Diethyl carbamoyl chloride, and this will going to be condensed in the presence of sodium hydroxide, and we have this one H, and this H minus HCl will going to be removed in the presence of NaOH. So this is minus HCl. This is N-methyl piperazine. So after removal of this HCl, this piperazine, which is methyl substituted, and this N is going to be attached with CON, this C2H5 and C2H5. So this is the structure of diethyl carbamazine. Okay, so this is very simple. CH3 group is there. This is diethyl carbamazine. What is the mechanism of action of this drug? Well, in the literature it has been written as there is a mechanism of action. Well-known mechanism of action of the diethyl carbamazine is not clear, but in few literature the mode of action has been given, and the mode of action is as says that it act onto the microflora, and after acting or attached with the microflora, it is make them attractive towards the monocytes, and these monocytes are get phagocytosed this microflora, and this phagocytosis is accelerated or enhanced in the presence of the diethyl carbamazine. This is the one of the mode of action has been given in the literature, and another mode of action has been given as they are effective against the muscular activity. They acting on the muscular activity of the parasite by causing the hyperpolarization of the parasitic muscles, and as we know, the hyperpolarization causing the inactivation of the cell membrane of the parasite, and thus the muscle is get slowed down, and thus they will slowly destroy the worms by inhibiting its motility. Thank you.